Hello and welcome to The Soul of Dubai, a podcast brought to you by Dubai Culture. Today we'll be interviewing Justin Joseph and Ahmed Kadhim, two founders of a remarkable tea concept that represents Dubai at every single level. Guys, welcome to the Soul of Dubai podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get right to the heart of it. Today, I want to ask you, Justin, tell me about your story. What does Dubai mean to you, and why are you here?
I grew up in Dubai, so I'm a third culture kid. Came here in '93, so I was born in India, but I've been a Gulf baby. Like my grandparents used to live in Oman, so came here, kind of just got into the mix of it. Now it's like almost 26 years, maybe. Yeah. And I mean, Dubai means home right now. If anyone wants to ask me where I'm from, I say Dubai. I'm of Indian origin, but if for all intents and purposes, Dubai is home. Like I'm from the streets of Dubai.
When you say it like that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about you, Ahmed? Tell us about your Dubai story.
So I'm an Emirati, right? So Dubai is definitely home for me. But I think the evolution of the country and the city itself is what really inspires me, because obviously we're so interested of what's happening abroad. But again, I think the pace of Dubai is what really keeps you motivated to be bigger and better. And that's why Dubai is always going to be HQ for me.
This is the home base at all times. I assume you travel a lot, like many people do. And so I guess what I'd like to know is your travels and tea. What does tea have to do with the great world of things in your universe?
I think it starts way back, right? Because it's a thing you have on the streets, you have it at home, you have it with friends. It's a community thing. So for us, it just goes like my story is totally different than his, right? But there is that common denominator between both of us that has tea around it. And he was by Dubai, I was like the Alpha Street or 2nd December Street. So each one has a different story with tea. But I think that was kind of the base of the conversation that we had. But then again, wherever you go, that's like home, right? So that's my comfort zone. If I'm sick, if I want to refresh, I want to feel better, I want to feel like I remember home. So it's like chai and toast. That's the cue, right?
Right.
So wherever you are in the world, I think that's what brings me back to kind of home or Dubai.
So chai and toast, I think that's so representative of something that is our home, you know, and what you come back to every time when you need comfort, happiness, celebration. What did you do to actually, where is authenticity found in something as simple as chai and toast?
Like for me, again, it's home. Chai and toast was always home, right? I have it every single day in the morning, right? So that represents it for me. But it's interesting enough, when we went to our chai recce trip in Kolkata, Justin was always telling me about this share market tea, Chaiwala that has
Fresh cream toast.
Fresh cream toast. Okay.
It's known as Malai toast.
Okay.
But it's like a staple. You know,
Okay.
it has fresh cream on the toast and you dip it in your chai and the cream mixes with the chai. But that's like a thing.
That sounds amazing.
We have it. So
You know?
you need to try it.
So can you tell me about this recce? You just kind of glazed, like what, Justin, what was this recce that you went to?
So we both used to work in finance. We were like finance professionals, suits. I would be in a suit, he'll be in his kundura. And then we'd always be like chatting about what we're going to do next. And we said, let's just get on a plane. Let's go down to Kolkata, which is the hub of tea. That's where the tea trade started. And let's go down to Darjeeling from there and see, just see what the tea ecosystem looks like, which basically meant staying in the middle of a tea estate in a 150-year-old house.
Wow.
For like a few days and just learning about what it takes to like grow tea.
And when you came back home to Dubai, did you find any parallels between that journey and then what you learned about tea and what exists here in our home?
For sure. So Karak, which is what it's known as here, just means strong. But when it came from India, it kind of evolved into a new drink, which is the mix of Emirati influence, Indian culture. And so Karak over here is very different from chai in India. It's made differently. But that's what it represents over here. So when we came back, we had that knowledge of where tea comes from, how it evolved, and how we can now own that UAE kind of experience.
It's interesting because you're talking about the meld between the Indian and the Emirati, and I'm sitting here in front of you guys, and I'm like, oh, this is it.
This is what it is.
This is
right?
the epitome of what it is,
Right?
actually.
We're the embodiment of Karak.
Right. And I love that. And I think people feel that when they, when they interact with the little beautiful universe that you guys have built. And so when you began your journey, did you know what were the pillars that you believe Dubai as, that Dubai has put into the business and into yourselves? What are the pillars that are of values that you maintain?
So interestingly enough, like because we come from consulting backgrounds, we actually put things that matter to us. That we built a proper business model canvas, and we put our personal values into the concept. Right, I remember that very vividly in the pantry of where we used to work. Right, so what essentially we did is we took the authenticity of where we grew up, how tea is made, and then where's the best place to start is Dubai, because you have 200 nationalities. You can go anywhere from Dubai, right? And that is what was the ultimate test for us. So that's why we started as a pop-up. And then we said, let's test how people react to it. It is extremely challenging, don't get me wrong, because you're translating a product that is familiar but not so familiar in its format. So that was kind of how it started. But again, where we're going with this is exactly this. And why we're in Dubai is, again, exactly why this is, right? Dubai is always going to be our HQ, our starting point, as an Emirati evolved in Desi product, right, into the world. And that's the idea.
And authenticity, I think, like you mentioned, was one of the core pillars. So we always keep saying real chai, real people. And it was taking our experience of me growing up as a third culture kid in Dubai, him as an Emirati. How can we now bring that through tea? So tea for us means a lot of things. I mean, it's a part of the experience, right? Like, so it was authenticity mixed with nostalgia. Like nostalgia is key. Even though I grew up here, like there is a sense of nostalgia when you travel. It reminds you of home. So if you have a chai and toast, whether it's in New York or wherever, it's like, okay, this is my way of like, okay, I'm back in Dubai on the streets, grabbing my karak. And so I think nostalgia, authenticity, and then from the tea gardens, what we wanted to bring was that essence of community, like building a community around chai. Chai is a communion. It's where people hang out and have karak on the side of the street. So that was important for us to kind of highlight, bring our culture out.
So on a personal level, because we're talking about nostalgia, but I would like to kind of delve a little deeper. What is, Ahmed, what's your earliest memory of tea, of chai?
Definitely at home. It's always, again, it goes back to chai and toast.
Yeah.
That's the basic cheese, toast, and chai. And we used to also do with nido milk, which is powder milk. It was not real chai whatsoever.
Yeah, but
that's extreme nostalgic for me, and it really takes me home, I guess.
Was it with your grandmother, your
mom?
With your mom.
Yeah.
And what about you, Justin?
I mean, for sure with the family, like you've grown up with chai, so it's part of it. But my fondest memories were like when I'd be studying in university, I'd come back to Dubai, was that first phone call you have with your friends because you're linking up and it's winter and someone has started driving. So, you get in your car and you meet, it might be raining, but it's like you meet in like Port Rashid, outside there's a chai shop and you meet your friends. So I think that was the fondest memories. And, it brings back all the nostalgia of like where you can just be with your friends and drink karak. That's it.
And it goes really back to building community. That what you've just said
100%.
right now is that it's the center
100%.
of bringing all you together.
So for us, the story of being in Dubai and I guess the vision of the leadership is really something that motivates me as an Emirati, and I guess as Justin being as an Emirati Indian, throughout this is to really push the boundaries and with values, with culture, and translate that somewhere else where people recognize Dubai is not only the buildings, there's much more to it.
I think for me, it's definitely been influential for me growing up was the street culture. It's such a not misunderstood. It's just not been represented enough. Like I learned hip hop through Dubai. Like I remember seeing Tupac graffitied somewhere on a thing and someone telling me, like my friend telling me about Tupac. It wasn't through MTV or anything. So Dubai has this culture that was always there. And that, when we grew up, it was great. you learned so many things. Like there was street ball then. And so I see that it has its own culture, which maybe people didn't know about. And it's still there. It's still there as a backdrop to all the glitz and the glamour, which I think needs to be represented. And that's, part of the whole community part.
And so where do you guys sit in the spectrum, if you will, of glitz and glamour and not glitz and glamour? Where do you guys sit?
Where do you think we sit?
The questions, I asked the question.
I like to think we sit somewhere in the middle, a bit of both. We want to take something that's really pure, out of the Dubai culture, but can't sit in a New York or Berlin. And I think that's something, it's our shared ambition to be proud of. It's like, not bring concepts from outside and try and copy them here, but like this can also be transported and planted anywhere. So
at the heart of what you're saying, you're actually talking, in my opinion, about culture. And so what does culture mean? Well, what does culture mean to you, Ahmed?
Culture and from a Dubai perspective, I guess it's more or less like sticking to the values that I have grown up with and how I translate that into my brand ultimately, and then how to share that, represent that wherever I go.
I would add inclusive as well. I think that's part of the culture. Like culture is identity, but it evolves, like he said. And what better place to represent that than Dubai? It's evolved so much over the last 25 years, but it's been inclusive. Like everyone's part of that culture.
Let's talk about the future. What do you feel is the future of the space that you're in? And how is that informed by the past that we talked about, When you travel or when you're abroad, when you talk about home, like obviously I think it's more a question towards when you talk about home, the truth is that you're a third culture kid.
Yeah.
Can we have the conversation about how is this home?
Yeah.
And does that make you feel strange in any way? Because I have moments where I'm like, no, this is my home and I love it here.
Yeah, it's definitely a prolonged conversation trying to explain someone where you're from. So funnily enough, I studied in the States and then I got drawn back to Dubai. And then I tried to leave again and I went to the UK and got drawn back to Dubai. So now for me, I've accepted that Dubai is my home and it kind of pulls me back in.
Yeah.
But when people ask me, I think it's easier now to have that conversation. When you mention Dubai, people kind of know Dubai.
Yeah.
But back in like 2003, when you were in like the States, no one knew Dubai. So it was hard to explain. And then you had to explain you're not actually born or like originally from Dubai or from India. So I think that's an easier conversation now.
Right. And that's because of all of the work that's been done to put the city on the map.
For sure.
And what about I guess this is a question for Ahmed. Finding the soul of Dubai, the actual soul of the city. How do you go about doing that personally?
I think it's a people, people definitely go for that cliche old Dubai story, but I think it's within the people. And not only the local people like myself, but I think people like him, like you, like others, right? Because these people grew up over here and these are the core people that still choose to remain here. There are people that came 5 years ago, especially during COVID. They realized how the leadership of the country is, I think that's what makes us super unique is leadership want people to be happy, people to be feeling like home, right? And it's difficult to do that with 200 nationalities, right? Yeah. But they managed to do so. And that's, to me, is the core of what the soul of Dubai, if you may, are the people from different ethnicities, different nationalities. They're all coming together in this small, tiny place. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yes, relatively speaking, landmass wise.
Exactly.
We're not that big, but in spirit and in heart, I feel like.
And the tallest building in the world.
And the tallest building in the world. What about you, Justin? How do you personally find the soul of Dubai?
I think it's just being in Dubai is the soul of Dubai. It's evolving. Every day is a new day. That's what keeps us like kind of waking up every day. And it's a challenge. You're never bored. And I think that really is the soul. It's like, it's always changing. It's always adapting. And we're in for the ride. So, we love it. I think that's what keeps us in Dubai too. It's like, okay, something's done and like Expo's done. And now we're looking forward to the next big thing or the small thing. So I think for me, soul of Dubai is just being here, engaging with the people, with new people and the old like OGs like us. Yeah,
yes, we are now the OGs. It's true. So Ahmed, tell me the future and your hopes for it. What do you hope for as we look into this, in my opinion, very bright future?
It is definitely bright. So I'm definitely within the optimistic spectrum, right? There's a lot of plenty of learnings where we can just take and grow from, and I think it's going to be bigger, better, and stronger.
Definitely. And what about you, Justin? Your hopes for the future?
Yeah, I mean, very grateful to be in Dubai. And it's going to be an exciting future. So like we said, we're in the mix of everything. I think this is the center of the world right now at this point. There's so much happening in terms of innovation, in terms of just development. So for us, it's a great time to be here. And there's so much, like it's still so early in the game. So just looking forward to it. Yeah.
So buckle up.
You know, we're just getting started.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Pleasure is
and
ours.
I can't wait to see what the future holds for you both.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much for tuning into our show today. Our show is available on all podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. So if you'd like to catch other episodes, please tune in there. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.